Hey everyone, Bruce here, and today, we are diving into a world of hidden gems and big creativity. Welcome to 15 must-play indie games on Steam Deck, worth every penny. These are the games made with love, passion, and probably a little too much coffee by small teams or even solo developers. What's awesome about indie games? They're packed with ideas, wild art styles, and stories that hit you right in the feels. And guess what? They're perfect for your Steam Deck. Whether you're chilling on the couch, traveling, or just avoiding your homework, these indie games are an absolute blast. Before we jump in, don't forget to like this video, drop a comment about your favorite indie game, and subscribe so you never miss an episode of awesome gaming content. Ready to discover your next favorite game? Let's go! Cuphead. If you've ever wondered what would happen if Disney cartoons from the 1930s had a wild night out and woke up as a video game, well, meet Cuphead. This hand-drawn masterpiece follows our porcelain-headed hero and his brother Mugman, who make possibly the worst casino bet in history, their souls. Talk about a bad day at the slots. After losing to the devil himself, because who else would you gamble with, our dynamic duo must become supernatural debt collectors, battling bizarre bosses to save their own skins. Ceramic. The gameplay? Oh boy, prepare to die. A lot. Cuphead is a run-and-gun boss rush that's tougher than yesterday's coffee. You'll face everything from giant angry carrots to boxing frogs that transform into slot machines. Because why not? The controls are straightforward. Jump, dash, shoot, and unleash special attacks. But don't let that fool you. This game will test your skills harder than a math exam on Monday morning. On the deck, the jaw-dropping 1930s animation style with watercolor backgrounds and hand-drawn characters would make Max Fleischer proud. The jazzy soundtrack swings harder than a caffeinated conductor, perfectly matching the frantic gameplay. And if you're feeling brave, bring a friend along for local co-op action. Though fair warning, adding a second player can make things even more chaotic. Stardew Valley. Trading your soul-crushing corporate job for a peaceful life on Grandpa's old farm might sound like a millennial fantasy, but Stardew Valley turns this dream into a captivating pixelated reality. After inheriting your grandfather's neglected farmland in Pelican Town, you embark on a journey that's about way more than just growing turnips and petting chickens. On the Steam Deck, the game's charm lies in its incredible depth beneath that cute, retro exterior. Your days are filled with an impressive variety of activities, from tending crops and raising livestock to exploring monster-filled mines and crafting artisanal goods. Each season brings new challenges with its 28-day cycle, forcing you to adapt your farming strategy and keeping things fresh. Just remember to hit the hay before 2 a.m., or you'll faceplant right there in your cabbage patch. While you can approach the game however you like, there's always something pushing you forward. Whether it's restoring the community center, wooing one of the 12 eligible townspeople, or simply trying to create the most profitable wine empire this side of Pelican Town. The game's social aspects add genuine heart to the experience, with each villager having their own story to uncover and personality to discover. The farming mechanics are delightfully intricate, with different crops requiring various strategies and processing options. Want to turn those blueberries into artisanal preserves? Go for it. Feeling more like a wine connoisseur? There's a barrel for that. And don't forget about your animal friends. Though interestingly, everyone in Stardew Valley seems to be pescatarian, as there's no option to turn your beloved chickens into nuggets. Celeste. Ever thought that you could experience climbing a mountain while battling your inner demons? That too on your handheld? In Celeste, that's not just a metaphor, it's your Tuesday. This pixelated masterpiece follows Madeline, a young woman determined to conquer Mount Celeste, despite her anxiety and depression manifesting as a sassy, purple-haired version of herself. Talk about taking self-sabotage to a whole new level. The gameplay is tighter than a mountain climber's grip, featuring precision platforming that'll make your palms sweat. You've got a simple but powerful moveset. Jump, air dash in 8 directions, and climb walls. Sounds basic, right? Well, so is a piano, but try playing Beethoven. The game combines these mechanics in increasingly clever ways, creating challenges that'll have you performing aerial ballet through spikes, across disappearing platforms, and over bottomless pits. Each chapter represents another step in Madeline's journey of self-discovery, with the difficulty curve matching her emotional struggles. And unlike your ex, when this game breaks your heart, it always provides a way forward with its incredibly forgiving checkpoint system. The haunting soundtrack by Lena Raine perfectly captures both the isolation of the mountain and the warmth of personal triumph, shifting dynamically with your progress. Plus, if you're feeling particularly masochistic, there are B-side and C-side variations of each chapter that'll make the main game look like a casual stroll through the park. The assist mode is available for those who want to focus more on the story, proving that like the mountain itself, this game meets you where you are. Vampire Survivors. If you mixed bullet hell mayhem with idle gaming and sprinkled it with some RPG seasoning, you would get this game. Meet Vampire Survivors, the pixelated chaos simulator where you're both the hunter and the hunted. In this addictive time survival romp, you'll face waves of night creatures with nothing but your wits and an arsenal of auto-firing weapons. The beauty of Vampire Survivors lies in its deceptively simple gameplay. You only need to worry about moving your character around. That's it. No complex button combinations, no trigger finger gymnastics. Your character attacks automatically while you focus on the dance of survival, dodging through endless hordes of monsters that would love nothing more than to turn you into their midnight snack. What starts as a manageable monster mosh pit quickly escalates into beautiful bullet hell bedlam. As you level up by collecting those shiny experience gems, you'll choose between weapons and power-ups that transform your humble beginning into a symphony of destruction. Want spinning Bibles? Got 'em. How about bombarding seagulls? Why not? The game lets you build your character into a walking apocalypse. The real hook is the constant drip of unlockables that keeps you coming back for just one more run. Each 30-minute session feels different thanks to the variety of characters, weapons, and power-ups at your disposal. Plus, with features like Hyper Mode and Endless Mode, there's always a new challenge waiting to test your mettle.
All right, one more time.
Hades. Dying has never been this much fun. In Hades, you play as Zagreus, the snarky prince of the underworld who's trying to escape his helicopter dad's domain. And by helicopter dad, we mean Hades himself, Lord of the Dead. Talk about family drama. Every failed escape attempt sends you right back to daddy's house. But like that one friend who never learns their lesson, you'll keep coming back for more. On the Steam Deck, the gameplay is a masterclass in roguelike action, combining lightning-fast combat with Greek mythology's greatest hits. Armed with various weapons blessed by the Olympians, you'll hack, slash, and dash through procedurally generated chambers filled with souls of the damned. Each run feels fresh thanks to the boons, godly powers that can transform your basic attacks into devastating combinations. Want Zeus's lightning with your bow? How about Dionysus's hangover-inducing attacks? The possibilities are more numerous than Hydra's heads. Every time you die, and you will a lot, you return to the House of Hades, where a rich cast of mythological characters awaits with new dialogue, side quests, and relationship-building opportunities. From gossiping with Achilles to feeding treats to Cerberus, who's the goodest three-headed boy, each interaction adds layers to an already compelling story. The visual and audio design is absolutely stunning, with hand-drawn artwork that makes every character look ready for their Olympian photo shoot. The voice acting is superb, delivering thousands of lines of witty dialogue that somehow never gets old. And the soundtrack? It rocks harder than Sisyphus's boulder. Remember, it's not about how many times you die, it's about how stylishly you do it. Dredge. Ever wondered what would happen if H.P. Lovecraft wrote Deadliest Catch? Welcome to Dredge, where peaceful fishing trips turn into nightmare fuel. After a mysterious shipwreck lands you in the town of Greater Marrow, you're given a replacement vessel and a seemingly simple task: pay off your debt by catching fish. But like that sketchy seafood from last week's buffet, something's definitely fishy here. The gameplay loop is beautifully simple yet addictively deep. During daylight hours, you'll be living your best fisherman life, sailing around scenic spots, catching fish through timing-based minigames, and playing the world's wettest version of Tetris as you arrange your catches in your boat's limited cargo space. Each fish has its own peculiar shape, turning your hold into a puzzling game of aquatic Jenga. Want to squeeze in that L-shaped cod alongside your hammerhead shark? Better break out those spatial reasoning skills. But once the sun sets, this cozy fishing sim shows its true colors. The peaceful waters transform into a nightmare realm where eldritch horrors lurk beneath the waves, ready to turn your peaceful fishing trip into a terrifying fight for survival. Your panic meter rises as hallucinations warp reality around your boat, creating hazards that could send you to a watery grave. Yet some of the most valuable catches only appear at night, forcing you to balance greed against sanity. On the Steam Deck, the game's 5 distinct regions each offer their own challenges and mysteries to uncover. From the claustrophobic swamps of Twisted Strand to the spooky ruins of Devil's Spine, each area feels unique and comes with its own selection of fish, threats, and secrets. You'll work with a mysterious figure known as the Collector, who sends you on increasingly unsettling quests to recover strange relics from the depths. Hollow Knight. This masterpiece follows our silent, nail-wielding protagonist through a vast underground kingdom that makes Dark Souls look like a weekend getaway. If you've ever wondered what a Metroidvania would look like if it were designed by Franz Kafka while having an existential crisis, here's your answer. On the Steam Deck, the gameplay is tighter than a tick in a terrarium, featuring precise combat and platforming that rewards skill and patience. Armed with your trusty nail, basically a sword but fancier, you'll slash, dash, and wall jump through intricate caverns while discovering new abilities that make you feel increasingly powerful. The charm system lets you customize your playstyle. Want to shoot fireballs like a tiny bug wizard? Or perhaps heal faster than a cockroach on regeneration steroids? Mix and match to your heart's content. Each area has its own distinct personality, from the fungal wastes with their bouncy mushrooms to the crystalline peaks that sparkle with deadly beauty. The game's lore is deeper than the abyss itself, told through subtle environmental storytelling and cryptic conversations with the few bugs who haven't lost their minds. The atmospheric soundtrack shifts seamlessly between melancholic melodies and intense battle themes, perfectly capturing both the loneliness of exploration and the thrill of boss fights. Speaking of bosses, prepare to face everything from infected knights to angry aspids, each requiring different strategies and providing that sweet dopamine rush when defeated. The game's difficulty is as balanced as a tightrope walker, challenging but never unfair. Halls of Torment. Ever wanted to mix Diablo's gothic atmosphere with Vampire Survivor's chaos? Halls of Torment serves up a deliciously dark roguelite where every 30-minute run is a dance with death in a retro-styled nightmare. Set in a grim underground realm, you'll face waves of unholy horrors that would make a demon call for backup. The gameplay strikes a perfect balance between accessibility and depth. You only need to focus on movement while your character attacks automatically, making it a bullet heaven experience that won't give you carpal tunnel. But don't let that fool you. You'll face everything from skeleton warriors to hellhounds, with mini-bosses popping up just when you think you've got things under control. Each run lets you level up and create unique builds through traits, abilities, and items. Found some sweet loot? Use the Wellkeeper's services to retrieve items back to the overworld for future runs. The Shrine of Blessings lets you permanently upgrade your base stats with gold earned from your inevitable deaths, ensuring each failure makes you stronger. The atmosphere is deliciously gothic, with pre-rendered visuals that feel like a love letter to late 90s RPGs. The haunting soundtrack and medieval English voice acting create an authentically spooky vibe that'll have you feeling like you're really descending into the abyss. Elite enemies aren't just bigger health bars. They come with unique mechanics that'll keep you on your toes.
And at the top of the food chain. Oh boy, I suppose even the most voracious hunters have their off days.
Dave the Diver. This game is what happens if someone combines Subnautica with Hell's Kitchen. You step into the shoes of a lovable, chunky diver who manages to turn underwater exploration and sushi restaurant management into gaming's most unexpected perfect pairing. On the Steam Deck, this pixelated gem follows our rotund hero as he dives into the mysterious blue hole, where the landscape changes with every plunge, and the fish are just waiting to become tomorrow's special. The gameplay is brilliantly split between two main activities: During the day, you're living your best Jacques Cousteau life, exploring procedurally generated underwater environments with your trusty harpoon gun. Movement is surprisingly graceful. Despite Dave's size, he glides through the water like a majestic sea cucumber with a purpose. You'll hunt fish, dodge predators, and collect materials while managing your oxygen supply, which cleverly doubles as your health bar. At night, it's time to don your manager's apron and run Bancho Sushi, where every fish you caught becomes potential profit. You'll craft menus, serve customers, and slowly build your restaurant empire. The game keeps you hooked with a constant stream of upgrades, from better diving gear to expanded restaurant facilities. Want to dive deeper? Upgrade your pressure suit. Need more customers? Spruce up that decor. Beyond the core gameplay loop, you'll uncover an intriguing story about mysterious sea people, participate in underwater horse racing, and even raise a Tamagotchi-style fish baby. The game constantly introduces new mechanics and activities at just the right pace, keeping things fresh without becoming overwhelming.
The Arch-Confraternity awaits you. Those penitents that the miracle itself took as its sentinels.
Blasphemous 2. Ready for a side-scrolling nightmare that makes Dark Souls look like a Sunday picnic? Welcome to Blasphemous 2, where religious horror meets Metroidvania in a pixelated dance of death. On the Steam Deck, you play as the Penitent One, a silent knight who's apparently terrible at staying dead, now tasked with preventing the rebirth of something ominously called the Miracle. Talk about your Sunday church service gone wrong. The gameplay is a masterful evolution of its predecessor, offering a more expansive and non-linear world to explore. Unlike the first game's one-trick pony combat, you now have 3 distinct weapons to play with: a mace-like censer, a dagger-rapier combo, and a cleaving sword. Each brings its own flavor of destruction, and you'll be switching between them faster than a priest changing communion wine. The combat system is so robust that it even channels some Devil May Cry vibes, letting you pull off stylish combos through jump cancels and weapon swaps. Picture exploring an upside-down castle oozing with wax, while haunting orchestral arrangements echo through halls decorated with religious imagery gone terrifyingly wrong. The boss battles are particularly spectacular. These nightmarish showdowns will test your skills and sanity in ways that even From Software might envy. The game strikes a perfect balance between punishing difficulty and accessibility. Gone are the frustrating instant death pits from the first game, replaced with a more balanced challenge that makes this a surprisingly good entry point for newcomers to the genre. The expanded mobility options and customizable abilities let you tailor your playstyle, whether you prefer to be a methodical strategist or an acrobatic death dealer. Affogato. You will step into the shoes of a coffee-brewing witch who fights demons while trying to make rent. Affogato, a magenta-haired, don't you dare call it red, sorceress who's opened up shop in the perpetually gloomy Arurua city. Thanks to a pact with her sassy demon partner Mephisto, she's serving up both lattes and exorcisms. Talk about a unique business model. The gameplay loop is as rich as a triple-shot espresso, divided into morning, evening, and late-night activities. During daylight hours, you'll manage your cafe, shop for supplies, and work on your social skills. As night falls, you can pursue side stories with a colorful cast of characters, or dive into the minds of troubled souls to battle their inner demons. What makes Affogato special is its innovative reverse tower defense combat system. Instead of defending against waves of enemies, you're on the offensive, strategically placing tarot card units along a track to battle stationary demon forces. Each unit costs penta currency, and you'll need to carefully plan your route through enemy formations while managing your resources. The game's presentation is a delightful blend of visual novel aesthetics and JRPG elements, complete with Japanese voice acting for major story beats. The art style shifts beautifully between different modes, from the cozy cafe management scenes to the intense mental battlegrounds. Multiple character outfits can be unlocked through various activities, adding extra flavor to your witch's wardrobe. In this cafe, the real shots aren't just espresso, they're magic. Death Must Die. Death Must Die serves up this unlikely cocktail with a dash of bullet heaven mayhem. As one of several heroes trying to defeat death itself, talk about ambitious career goals. You'll dive into procedurally generated levels where surviving for 20 minutes feels like trying to juggle chainsaws in a hurricane. On the Steam Deck, the gameplay strikes a perfect balance between accessibility and depth. While you only need to worry about movement, your character attacks automatically, you'll need to master the dash mechanic to dodge those pesky red danger zones that enemies love to create. Each run lets you build your character differently through divine blessings from various gods, creating combinations that would make even Hades' Zagreus jealous. Between runs, you'll unlock new gear, characters, and permanent upgrades that make each attempt feel meaningful. The game keeps you on your toes with elite enemies spawning at specific intervals, leading up to a climactic boss battle at the 20-minute mark with the Baron of the Outer Circle, who really should have been a count, but we won't judge. The combat system shines with its variety of builds and playstyles. Want to rain meteors from the sky? Go for it. Prefer to leave trails of fire with your dash? That's an option too. Each character class comes with its own weight restrictions for gear, adding another layer of strategy to your loadout decisions. Just remember, standing still is about as wise as trying to high-five a gargoyle, so keep moving and exploring to find those precious shrines and power-ups. Sea of Stars. This one is a JRPG that feels like Chrono Trigger had a beautiful baby with modern game design. Sea of Stars is where two Solstice warriors, Zael and Valere, set out to save the world from an immortal alchemist called the Fleshmancer. Talk about career goals. On the Steam Deck, these solar and lunar-powered heroes might have interchangeable personalities, but they sure know how to put on a light show. The gameplay is a masterclass in turn-based combat that'll keep you more engaged than a cat watching a laser pointer. The innovative locks system lets you interrupt enemy attacks by matching damage types, while scattered mana crystals power up your abilities. Want to stop that undead pirate captain from summoning his equally undead sea monster? Better start thinking about your damage types faster than a speedrunner in a boss fight. The environments swing between lush, colorful paradises and creepy dungeons lit by glowing mushrooms, while combat animations explode with more color than a rainbow factory accident. The world itself is a joy to explore, packed with swimming, climbing, and even grapple shot shenanigans that'll have you bouncing around like a caffeinated kangaroo. The story might take its sweet time getting started, about 8 hours of let's do this side quest first, before things get spicy. But once it kicks into high gear, you're in for a wild ride through some seriously intriguing lore. Plus, you'll eventually get your own pirate ship with a crew more colorful than a box of crayons, including a captain whose name you'll need a linguistics degree to pronounce. Stray. Ever wondered what a cyberpunk dystopia would look like from a cat's eye view? Meet our nameless feline protagonist who turns getting lost into the most stylish adventure since Blade Runner got a pet. After falling into a mysterious underground city populated by robots, talk about landing on your feet, our whiskered hero must solve the mystery of this neon-drenched world while doing what cats do best, knocking stuff off ledges and being adorably chaotic. The gameplay perfectly captures what it's like to be a cat in a world built for bipeds. You'll leap across air conditioners, scratch up couches, because that's your civic duty as a cat, and meow on command just to annoy the locals. Your feline parkour abilities let you navigate the vertical cityscape with the grace of a gymnast who landed in a vat of catnip. And with your trusty drone companion B12, basically a flying cat butler, you can interact with the robot citizens and solve puzzles that would make any regular cat say, "Nah, I'll just take a nap instead." The cyberpunk city feels alive despite being inhabited by machines, with each district telling its own story through environmental details and robot interactions. From the neon-lit slums to the sterile facilities of the upper levels, every area feels distinct and begs to be explored. Plus, you can curl up and take a cat nap anywhere. Finally, a game that understands the importance of proper work-life balance. The narrative tackles surprisingly heavy themes for a game starring a cat, exploring ideas of humanity, consciousness, and survival in a post-human world. But don't worry, you'll still spend plenty of time doing important cat activities like getting stuck in paper bags and scratching doors until someone lets you in, only to immediately want out again.
Saved from sacrifice by the one who waits, you're compelled to repay the dead by creating a cult in their name. So, here's a few tips on how to start your very first cult.
Cult of the Lamb. In this game, you play as an adorably possessed lamb who starts a cult to repay a debt to an eldritch horror. After being saved from sacrifice by a mysterious entity known as the One Who Waits, you're tasked with building a following and taking down rival cult leaders who are basically the HOA presidents of the apocalypse. The gameplay is a delicious smoothie of genres, blending roguelite dungeon crawling with colony management. 1 minute you're slashing through heretics with your mystical sword, collecting resources and converting new followers. The next, you're back at camp deciding whether to feed your cultists perfectly good meals or suspicious mushrooms that might make them see the divine truth. Your followers are adorable woodland creatures who'll happily clean up camp, worship at your shrine, and occasionally request that you sacrifice their friends for the greater good. The management aspects keep you busy with tasks like cooking, resource gathering, and performing rituals, from blessing harvests to resurrecting the dead. Each run through the randomly generated dungeons feels fresh, as you collect different combinations of weapons and spells. The boss battles against rival cult leaders are particularly memorable, featuring everything from murderous unicorns to a narcissistic owl. And there you have it, 15 must-play indie games on Steam Deck, worth every penny. From mind-blowing adventures to quirky puzzle games, these indie titles prove you don't need a big budget to make an incredible game. They're fun, affordable, and perfect for gaming on the go. So, what's your favorite indie game? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you had a good time today, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with your fellow gamers. This is Bruce, signing off, happy gaming, and I'll see you in the next one.
The Blue Hole is home to unimaginable secrets. And with Dave's unquenchable thirst for discovery, there's no telling what